so the first video I did on this bike was just a bit of stuffing around really. I was very, very happy with it. Pretty excited, made a video, but I've been riding this for a while. I think I've used it for most everything, so I'm going to go ahead, do a review and give my thoughts. Look, take whatever big old grains of salt you need to. With this, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that likes to ride. And on most things, I'm going to be comparing this to my giant TCR, which is a few years old. It's a good bike. And I've got Campag Shimals on it, which is basically an excellent, strong, sort of light-ish aluminium wheel, same as a Fulcrum Zero. Good wheels. Anyway, that's the comparison I'm making in most cases. Let me start by talking about the frame. I always thought the giant TCR was very stiff and responsive, and it is. I'd say this is more so. I'm really enjoying the car pass. I'm really enjoying the that kind of lively, punchy feeling this has in accelerations and on the hill. I don't know how much of that is psychological, but look, there's something there and I'm enjoying it. I don't know if it's got something to do with the size of the tubes. Check out the tubes. Very, very sort of large sections in the tubes. So if you, look at that, that's compared to my TCR, especially look back here where it joins the seat tube. The top tube, very, very sort of large, fat, rounded off section. Bottom bracket is really sort of big. Even the forks, in my opinion, are relatively sort of fat, rounded off section. Look, I'm not an expert, but in theory, that means you can have a very, very thin wall on the tube, which is going to make it light, and it's going to make it light, and it's also going to be very, very rigid, I should think. So, right, next, the cranks. So I've taken the specialized cranks off and replaced them with the original Dura-Ace. I've always wanted it. I've always loved the look of it, and I've got a Dura-Ace 9000 stages power meter that I wanted to kind of pair up with the bike, so it made sense to do that. This is a 5236, which is surprisingly, the 52 is a lot different to a 53. I'm finding that with a 5211, if I'm coming down a longish hill, you kind of spin it up, and I'm thinking, okay, where's that other big gear? So yeah, it does make a difference, but look, that's not here or there. It really doesn't matter unless you're planning to sort of bomb around at 90 kilometers per hour. It's got a 36 instead of a 39 on the small ring. I'm enjoying that. It gives you a couple of real easy gears, you know, combined with the 11 to 28 cassette. So you can really sort of spin up the hills. Not loving the 1128 cassette, actually. I've used the 10-speed 1128 for a long time, and I thought the 11-speed would solve the problem of really sort of big differences in the gear ratios in that sort of fast part of the cassette. It doesn't. This is the same. I think I might need to go for a 1228 or an 1125 or something. We'll figure it out. So check this out. It's pretty well known. Not sort of pointing this out to anyone, but the specialized bottom bracket doesn't take the Shimano crank without an adapter. So there it is there. I'll just point to it with my little pinky. It's that adapter there. It's like a bushing. It basically mates the Shimano crank to the bottom bracket bearing. I've read reviews online and bits of info where people are kind of complaining about that a little bit, saying it's a problem or it creaks or something. I'm having zero problems with this. It's absolutely perfectly fine, and as far as I can see, as long as it's all a good snug fit, you couldn't possibly have a drama with it. I love this as well. It's a bit of a detail, but the look how sort of neat and minimalistic the junction between the seat post and the tube is. There's a little, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little sort of rubber stop there that pop out, and there's an Allen key head in there that operates some wedges that clamp the seat in there. A bit fiddly, but perfectly manageable, and it looks super in my opinion. Okay, maybe last up, let's talk about the wheels a bit. Roval CLX 40s. It's an aero wheel. It's got a zip 303-ish kind of section. It's extremely light. It's lighter than my Campy Shimals. It feels lighter than them. Again, I'm not sort of sensing, look, I'm not a big powerhouse of a rider, but I'm not sensing any kind of flex or drama with them. Although I took them to a wheel builder and had them really sort of trued up and tuned up, because out of the box I just wasn't confident they were just spot on. And in fact, he told me that the Roval wheels, in his opinion, use good components, you know, so the rims, spokes, hubs, all good stuff, but not necessarily that well put together. And I'm not the first guy that's had to take them and have them sort of dialed in a bit. But look, I'm extremely happy with them. They feel great. They don't have that sort of inertia feeling of like a 404 or something that really has you flying along. But no dramas with crosswinds, anything like that. And again, they feel light, they feel strong. I'm extremely happy with them. The Di2 is brilliant. In fact, at first, it took a bit of getting used to, but the more I get used to it, the more I'm loving it. Actually, it's excellent. It's not as perfect as I guess I thought it would be, but I think I might need to get the manual out and just, I know there's a little procedure for adjusting it. These tyres, I think this is the last thing I'll talk about. Turbo cotton, specialised turbo cotton tyres. I've used GP 4000s for a long time now. These feel sort of slicker, lighter, faster than GP 4000. Oh, look, it's subjective, you know, how do you really tell? It's just a bit of a feeling. But they don't have that nice tacky, grippy sort of feeling that the Contis give you. I've tried different tyres over the years, and every time I've used something other than a GP 4000 in the last 5 years or something like that, I've always found myself getting punctures or wearing them out really quickly or something like that. Look, it's been I don't know, 1,000 Ks or so, and no dramas with these whatsoever. I haven't had a puncture, so look, I'm happy. I'm happy with them. I know they're a lot dearer than a GP 4000, so I don't know what I'll do when the time comes to replace them. But probably the defining characteristic of this bike, though, is this real rigidity in the frame. And for some reason, I feel it when I'm out of the saddle on a hill. It really feels responsive and snappy. And I think that might be down to these really big, fat, old tube sections on the front of this bike. So that's it. That's my thoughts on the S Works Tarmac.